Hello everyone. This is Vinci Joseph, Assistant Professor, Information Science and Engineering from AJIT College, Mangaluru. In this session, we'll be taking up a few topics in Module 5 of Data Communications. Last session we started with the 5th module and we covered one of the first evolution, that is Ethernet evolution, that is standard Ethernet. The data rate was 10 Mbps, megabits per second. In this session we will be covering the next generations, that is fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet and 10 gigabit Ethernet. Okay, we'll start with the fast Ethernet. In IEEE, it is mentioned as 802.3U project. Okay. During 1990s, some LAN technologies with the transmission rates greater, that is higher than 10 Mbps came into picture. That is, for example, FDDI, this FDDI or fiber channel, all this came into picture. That is when the standard Ethernet, which we discussed earlier, was in market. At that time only, these FDDI, fiber channel, all this came into picture, such that this FDDI, fiber channel and all provided higher data rate than the standard Ethernet, that is 10 Mbps. So, in order for this standard Ethernet to survive, it doubled its data rate. That is, Ethernet made a big jump by increasing the transmission rate to 100 Mbps. This 100 Mbps. Okay, and the new generation was called the fast Ethernet. This is how it is called, the fast Ethernet. Now, this designers had some goals of what this particular fast Ethernet has to do, and these are the goals it has to cover. All these, that is, they wanted to upgrade the data rate to 100 Mbps. In the previous one, that is standard Ethernet, it was 10 Mbps, right? Yeah. Next goal was make it compatible with the standard Ethernet. That is, when standard Ethernet was in picture, almost everywhere this standard Ethernet was implemented, right? So when a new generation was to be implemented, they wanted it to be compatible. That is, sometimes we doesn't want to change what we have, isn't it? So that's how it does. In this also, they wanted it to be compatible with the previous one, that is the standard Ethernet. Next, keep the same 48-bit address, the same bit address, and the same frame format. They wanted to follow the same frame format, and also the same minimum and maximum frame length. Okay. Next is the access method. This fast Ethernet uses the star topology, and for the star topology there are two choices. That is, one is using half duplex approach and one more is using the full duplex approach. Okay. Now, for the in the half duplex approach, the stations are connected via a hub. That is, all the stations are connected through a hub. And in this particular half duplex approach, this CSMA-CD was used as access method. CSMA-CD is carrier sense multiple access collision detection. protocol. This was used as the access method. Okay, and in the full duplex approach, the connection is made via a switch with the buffers at each port. That is, at the link layer, switch receives a frame from a source host and stores it in the buffer, that is in the queue. Buffer storing in the buffer means queue, that is waiting for processing. Then it then checks the destination address and sends the frame out of the corresponding interface. This is how full duplex approach was implemented. Okay, and this in this access method, it also, this fast ethernet also added a new feature that is called auto negotiation. It is nothing but this auto negotiation allows a station or a hub a range of capabilities. Like the auto negotiation allows two devices to negotiate the mode or the data rate of operation. For example, if I say there is a device with the maximum data rate of say this is a device with the maximum data rate of 10 Mbps, that is it is using the earlier one, that is standard uh, Mbps. Okay, standard ethernet. Okay, and you have one more device with 100 Mbps. Mbps. That is the data rate of this particular second device. Okay, for this to communicate, this auto negotiation was used. That is, this even if one is of 10 Mbps and other one is of 100 Mbps, this using this when a fast ether, that is auto negotiation, these two can communicate. But one disadvantage here is that it will work at a lower rate. Okay. So you know what is auto negotiation, right? This auto negotiation, and some it has some goals, that is, it will allow incompatible devices to connect to another, and it allows one device to have multiple capabilities, as well as it will allow a station to check a hub's capabilities as well. These are the goals of auto negotiation. Okay. Next, we'll look on to the physical layer of this fast Ethernet. That is, to be able to handle a 100 Mbps data rate, several changes need to be made at the physical layer. This figure here shows two topologies. That is, the fast Ethernet is designed to connect two or more stations, and if there are only two stations, then it uses a point to point connection, whereas if there are more than two stations, then it uses a star topology. That is, say three hosts connected to switch, this is a star topology, right? Okay, it uses the star topology in that case. Okay, next is the summary of implementation of fast Ethernet. This fast Ethernet at the physical layer can be categorized as either two wire or a four wire implementation. Okay. The two wire implementation can be either shield twisted pair, this one. Yeah. These are shield twisted pair, STP, which is called 100 base TX, or it can be a fiber optic cable, which is called this 100 base FX, that is a fiber. F means fiber optic. Okay. The 4-wire implementation, this is 2-wire implementation, and the 4-wire implementation is designed only for unshielded, this one, unshielded twisted pair. UTP means unshielded twisted pair, which is called this 100 base T4, unshielded twisted pair. Okay, now after seeing this implementation, let us see to the encoding of these three implementations, that is encoding for fast Ethernet implementation. There are three encoding schemes. Which are those? That is 100 base TX, 100 base FX, and 100 base T4, right? Okay. See, this Manchester encoding needs 200 megabaud bandwidth for a data rate of 100 Mbps, which makes it suitable for a medium such as a twisted pair cable. For this reason, the fast Ethernet designers sought some alternative encoding decoding scheme, and they found one scheme that would not perform equally well for all the three implementations. Three different encoding schemes we'll discuss one by one: 100 base TX, and 100 base FX, and 100 base T4. Let's see the figure and then see what is 100 base. This first figure, this one, shows 100 base TX implementation. This uses two pairs of twisted pair cable, that is either category 5 UTP or STP. Okay, and for this implementation, MLT3 scheme was selected since it has some good bandwidth performance. And however, this MLT3 is not a self-synchronous line coding scheme, so they used this 4B by 5B block coding, which used to provide bit synchronization by preventing the occurrence of a long sequence of zeros and ones, that is a long sequence of 0 1 0 1 0 1 0, like this. This creates a data rate of 125 Mbps, which is fed into MLT3 for encoding. This is one station, however, where it is implemented. Okay. Next category, that is 100 base FX. F means fiber optic, isn't it? This uses two fiber optic cables. See to this, two, one for sending and one for receiving fiber optic cables. This optical fiber can easily handle high bandwidth requirements by using simple encoding schemes. But the designers of this particular 100 base FX selected this instead of MLT3, they selected NRZI encoding and decoding schemes for this implementation. Because this has a bit synchronization problem for long sequences of zeros. Okay, to overcome this problem, the designers used, because this has a bit synchronization problem, to overcome this problem they used this particular 4B by 5B block encoding here. The block encoding, this particular block encoding will increase the bit rate from 100 Mbps to 125 Mbps, which can easily be handled by this particular fiber optic cable. Okay, Next one is that is see a 100 base TX. This one network can provide a data rate of 100 Mbps, but it requires the use of category 5 UTP or STP cable, right? This is not cost efficient for buildings that have already been wired for voice grade twisted pair, that belongs to category 3. So a new standard called this particular 100 base T4 was designed, and which used the category 3 or higher UTP, and the implementation uses 4 pairs, 1 2 3 4. This represents 4 pairs. Okay, it uses this how many pairs? 4 pairs of that is UTP wires, unshielded twisted pair cables. And in out of this 4 pair, 1 pair switches between the sending and receiving, any 1 pair. Okay, and other 3 pairs of UTP category 3, however, can handle only 75 megabaud. That means how many? 3 pairs means 75 divided by 3, that is it can handle, each can handle 25 megabaud. But we need to use an encoding scheme that converts 100 Mbps into 75 megabaud signal, isn't it? For that, we use this 8B by 60 encoder bar decoder scheme. Okay. Now, this is all about encoding. Next, we'll see gigabit Ethernet, the next generation after which one? Fast Ethernet, that is gigabit Ethernet. The need for even higher data rate resulted in this particular gigabit Ethernet protocol, and according to IEEE committee, it is called standard 802 802.3Z. Okay. And the goal of this particular gigabit Ethernet were to upgrade the data rate from how many 100 Mbps to 1 Gbps. Earlier in the fast Ethernet, the data rate was 100 Mbps, isn't it? And even before that, that standard Ethernet, the data rate was 10 Mbps. To upgrade this to 1 Gbps, that was the goal of this particular gigabit Ethernet. Okay. Second goal was to make it compatible with the standard or the fast Ethernet, previous 2 generations. Okay. And this a bit address, frame format, and the range, that is minimum and maximum frame length, all they wanted to keep it the same in this as well. And last goal was to support auto negotiation as defined in fast Ethernet. That is auto negotiation means, that is if for example, if there are 2 stations and one station sends with what 100 Mbps, and the receiving station wants performs with this 1 Gbps, then there should be synchronization. Negotiation should be there, isn't it? In the between the communications, there should be negotiation. That is auto negotiation, which we discussed just before. Okay. Next, we will see to the MAC sublayer. This is a main consideration in the evolution of Ethernet. That is, in this, it was decided to keep this MAC sublayer untouched. However, to achieve a data rate of 1 Gbps, this was no longer possible. So, Gigabit Ethernet has two distinctive approaches for medium access, that is a half duplex mode, and one more is the full duplex mode. Okay, in this full duplex mode, there is a central switch connected to all the computers or other switches, and in this mode, for each input port, each switch has buffers in which data are stored until they are transmitted, that is stored and forward. Since the switch uses the destination address of the frame and sends the frame out of the port connected to that particular destination, there is no collision in this. That means here CSMA CD protocol is not used, that is carrier sense multiple access collision detection protocol is not used in this particular full duplex mode. Okay, coming to this half duplex mode, here the switch is replaced by the hub in this case. Okay, and this particular half duplex approach uses the CSMA-CD. And three methods have been defined under this particular half duplex mode. That is, one is a traditional corridor extension and the frame bursting. Okay, in this traditional approach, here we keep the minimum length of the frame as in traditional Ethernet, that is 512 bits. Whereas in carrier extension, to allow for a long network, we increase the minimum frame length. That is, the carrier extension approach defines the minimum length of the frame as how much? 512 bytes, nothing but 4096 bits. And this frame bursting, this the carrier extension is very inefficient if we have a series of short frames to send. Each frame carries redundant data. To improve the efficiency, this frame bursting was proposed. That is, instead of adding an extension to each frame, multiple frames are sent together. Here you are adding the extension in corridor extension. Here, instead of adding the extension, you are going to send the multiple frames. Okay. Next, we will see physical layer. The physical layer in Gigabit Ethernet is more complicated than that in standard or fast Ethernet. We'll just go through the features in short. Okay. Now first we'll see the topology. The topology is designed to connect two or more stations together. If there are only two stations, they can be connected in using this point-to-point connection. And if more than two stations, then it uses the star topology with a hub at the center. Okay. Next, we'll see the implementation. This Gigabit Ethernet can be categorized as either two-wire, two-wire or four-wire implementation. The two-wire implementations use this particular fiber optic cable, that is 1000 base SX. SX means short wave, or 1000 base LX. LX means the long wave. Okay, or it uses the STP here, that is 1000 base CX. And the four-wire implementation version uses category 5 twisted pair cable, that is 1000 base T4, T for twisted. That is, we have 4 implementation, 1000 base SX, 1000 base LX, 1000 base CX, and 1000 base T4. And this 1000 base T4 was designed in response to those users who had already installed this wiring for other purpose, such as fast Ethernet or telephone services. Okay, next we will see the encoding for this particular gigabit Ethernet. Okay, encoding in gigabit Ethernet implementations. This shows the implementation using 2 cables, and this shows the implementation using 4 cables. Okay. This gigabit Ethernet cannot use the Manchester encoding scheme because it involves a very high bandwidth, that is a 2 gigabaud, and the 2-wire implementations. So this 2-wire implementation uses the NRZ scheme as seen here, this NRZ scheme, but NRZ does not self-synchronize properly. So to synchronize the bits, particularly at this high data rate, this particular 8B by 10B block encoding is used here. This block encoding, what it will do is it will prevent long sequences of zeros and ones in the stream, but the resulting stream is 1.25 gigabits per second. This 1.25 gigabits per second. Okay, in 4-wire implementation, it is not possible to have 2 wires for input and 2 for output, because each wire would need to carry 500 Mbps here, which exceeds the capacity for this particular 5 UTP cable, 4 UTP. So as a solution, we use this 4D PAM5 encoder and decoding. That is, this is used to reduce the bandwidth. So for all 4 wires here are involved in both input as well as output, and each wires will carry 250 megabits per second, which is in the range for the UTP cables here. This is the encoding of gigabit Ethernet. Next, we will see the next generation, that is the 10 gigabit Ethernet, last generation we discussed in the Ethernet evolution. Okay. In the recent years, there have been another look into this Ethernet for use in metropolitan areas. The idea is to extend the technology, the data rate, the coverage distance, and everything, to extend all this so that Ethernet can be used as LAN and MAN, that is local area network, as well as the metropolitan area network. So this IEEE committee created this particular 10 gigabit Ethernet and called it standard 802.3 AE. This 10 gigabit Ethernet is also called 802.3 AE project. Okay, 802.3 AE project. Now, the goals of this particular 10 gigabit Ethernet is that upgrade the data rate to 10 Gbps. That is in the last, that is gigabit Ethernet, the data rate was 1 Gbps, isn't it? In this gigabit Ethernet, it was upgraded to 10 Gbps, gigabits per second. And second goal is make it compatible with the previous generations, that is standard Ethernet, fast Ethernet, and the gigabit Ethernet. And use the same bit address is same, and frame format is also the same. All this bit address frame format we have discussed in the start of this particular module. Okay, just go through. And the minimum and the maximum frame length also they wanted to retain the same as in standard fast and gigabit. See, these three goals, that is maintaining the 48-bit address and frame format, and the keeping the minimum and maximum frame length. These three goals are common for all, that is standard fast as well gigabit and 10 gigabit Ethernet. Okay. And next goal was to allow the interconnection of existing LANs into a MAN or a WAN. That is, existing local area networks should be able to connect to the metropolitan area network, or it is also called wide area network connecting interconnection. Okay. And the last goal was to make Ethernet compatible with the technologies such as frame relay and ATM. Next is the implementation of this particular 10 gigabit Ethernet. This 10 gigabit Ethernet operates only in full duplex mode, and which means that there is no need for contention. And this CSMS-CD is not used in this particular 10 gigabit Ethernet. Then 4 implementations are most common, that is 10G base SR, 10G base LR, 10G base EW, and 10G base X4. And medium used is fiber with 850 nanometer. 10G base LR uses the fiber with the 1310 nanometer, and these are the medium, and the length allowed, that is 300 meter, 10 kilometer for 10G base LR, and 40 kilometer for 10G base EW, and 10G base X4, 300 meter to 10 kilometer. And number of wires used is 2 in each case. And these are the encodings used. Thank you, students.